Hello everybody and welcome to a snowy southern Ontario. Yes, winter has finally arrived and that means one thing, snowmobile season. But that's not what I'm thinking about today. Today I'm doing some late season ATVing on this thing. This is the 2020 Can-Am Outlander Max XT. Now, I want to see how this ATV holds up in the snow. So in this video, we're going to do a full walk around. We'll talk about all the features on this machine and then I'll do just a little bit of riding on these trails. There's not much snow yet. In a future video, I'll find some real deep snow, but for now, let's find out all about this Outlander. So as I said, this is the 2020 Outlander Max XT. Now, the Max means that it's a 2-up. You can see right there, it's got this nice 2-up setup, and it's a proper 2-up. It actually has a step up right there. It's got some nice handles. It's got this nice contoured passenger seat. So that's the Max, and then the XT basically brings along a few different upgrades. Upgraded shocks, you get that winch up front as well, and a few other little things like those unique wheels. Now for 2020, not a ton changed for the Outlander, but for 2019 this thing received a serious update. So it is now wider than ever. This unit is 48 inches wide, which was made wider for 2019. There was also some pretty serious changes to the suspension. So up front, Can-Am added a sway bar. So there's a sway bar now in the front and the back of this unit to make sure it stays nice and flat when you're cornering and make sure it offers you optimal grip. Now, I did go hit some of my local trails here today, guys, and I can tell you that that's the word that immediately comes to your mind with this unit specifically, is stability, because not only do you have the width, you have the sway bars keeping you nice and flat, you also have the wheelbase here. So the wheelbase for the Max model is stretched out a little bit to 59 inches, and thanks to that it really smooths out the trail, really makes sure you're not bucking front to back. And of course you're going to get hung up there a little bit more, but it also helps quite a bit in the comfort department. Now, how about the engine? Well, this unit is available with 3 different powertrains, the 650, 850, or the 1000R. Now, right here in front of you, you're looking at the 850. So this is the mid-trim unit or the mid-powertrain unit, and we're talking about 78 horsepower from this motor. For 2019, it was given more power, so 78 horsepower is pretty respectable, and that makes more than some other brands' biggest ATVs. So Can-Am definitely likes to produce tons and tons of power. Now, controlling that power is also something interesting. It's the intelligent throttle control system. You can see it right there. That is what Can-Am calls its ITC. So you hit that button and you're able to cycle through all of the different modes. So you know what? Let's go ahead and fire up the screen here and I can show you the modes. So we push it once over to the right and there's sport mode. Back to the left, puts everything off. That's basically normal or touring mode. And then once more, and you get work mode. Now, how are these modes possible? Well, they're possible because this throttle has no cable hooked up to it. Can-Am uses a throttle-by-wire system, which allows them to have this ITC. So in sport mode, it's gonna make your throttle response way more aggressive. And then in work mode, it's gonna really dial out that throttle response so you can just be incredibly smooth with this unit, especially when you're creeping around a yard or backing up a trailer, something where you need to be sort of smooth and calm and you don't need any jerkiness. That's what work mode is all about. Now, for 4x4 equipment, this unit of course has 4-wheel drive. It does have a rear locker and then it has a front locker, but here it's Can-Am's Visco lock system, which is an automatic locking front differential. So basically, once again, it will wait until it starts to slip and then it will send power. Now, the power steering, the DPS Can-Am calls it, also has settings here. There's 3 different power steering weights that you can set up. Now, that's another really neat feature. It's nice to be able to choose, you know, a really light weight for the long trail rides and cruising, and then you might want to go heavyweight again if you're moving around in tight spots and you really want that feedback, or quite frankly, when you are ripping down the trail, it's nice to have some nice heavy feedback in your hands, at least I think think so. So I do appreciate that Can-Am gives you those different options. Now, I did mention the suspension, but I didn't talk about travel. So in the front, we do have arched A-arms, and you got them on both sides. It's a little dark. I'm not sure you're exactly going to see them right now, especially with those lights, but trust me, there's arched A-arms in there. And in the front, you're getting 9.2 inches of travel. Out back, you're getting 9.9 inches of travel. From my time on the trail today, this thing rides so smooth, and again, the stability is just bonkers through the corners. The sway bars keeps it super flat, keeps all four wheels in contact with the ground, and then you just have that added width, which again makes sure that you do not at all feel like the outside wheels want to lift. Okay, let me throw some more numbers at you. So ground clearance here is a full 11 inches. The length of this unit is 94 inches long. Width, as I mentioned, 48 inches. And then the total height is 53 inches. Now the dry weight with this 850 model is 874 pounds. For capacities, here on the front rack, that's good for 100 pounds. Back there on the rear rack, this one's good for 200 pounds. Towing capacity is also pretty dang good with this unit for an ATV, and you can see right down in there is a 2-inch hitch receiver, and towing on this Outlander has been pumped up to 1,650 pounds, which is pretty beastly for an ATV. Finally, fuel capacity. Well, the tank on this thing can hold 5.4 gallons or 20.5 liters. It's getting dark out here now, guys, but one more thing we can't forget to talk about is, of course, the price. So for this Outlander Max XT here in Canada, you're looking at a starting price of $13,399, but then once you add on this 850 powertrain, the as-tested price comes to 14,299 Canadian dollars. Now going south of the border, the starting price for this Outlander Max is 11,349, but with the 850 powertrain, so as tested, we're talking about 11,999 US dollars. And that's another big deal because Can-Am has long been criticized for having expensive machines. However, for 2019 and 20, it's actually a little bit cheaper. Can-Am managed to upgrade the Outlander, change up a lot of its features, and knock some money off of the MSRP, which is always a good thing. With this Outlander, Can-Am gives you a ton of choices. It's nice, first of all, to be able to get the Max and get that 2-up, and then you can still choose from 3 different engines. Now again, this is the mid-engine, and I've been on the 1000R. That thing is insane. This thing has plenty of power. I would never get bored with this 78 horsepower, and then even that 650, the lower unit, I bet still has plenty of power. So it's nice that Can-Am gives you those options. Now, what is this thing really like to ride? Well, I keep mentioning it. I gotta say it one more time. It's very stable. The stability really is there. Going through the corners, it stays so flat, it makes the handling so good. However, there's a trade-off, and that is somewhat the stiffness. Now, I did say it was comfortable, and I wasn't lying, but the suspension is definitely quite stiff here, and when you are cornering, that's what you want. You don't want it to be wishy-washy, you don't want it to be sort of wallowing through the corners, and it doesn't at all. However, when you are going down the trail, you can definitely feel how stiff this suspension setup is. And maybe back there for the passenger, that might be even worse. Now, I haven't actually ridden on the back of this unit yet, but I imagine, again, if it's real stiff back there, that might start hurting your back. So that's sort of my one complaint with it now. But I've only been riding here for the last, 20 minutes. This was my very first ride with this unit. And at this point in the video, let me now mention, guys, I actually just moved. I got a new house. I got a massive backyard. That's my house all the way down there. So in upcoming videos, you're gonna see this backyard and this trail system way more than ever, because before, where I lived in the city, there was no trails close to me. Now I'm out here in the country and I can finally just go riding. So get ready to see a lot more of the trails around here in my backyard here, and more of this Outlander, because there's one thing I really wanna do: load up a passenger. I wanna put someone on the back, whether that's one of my buddies or maybe even my wife, and go for a trail ride and really see how it is back there, because that's really the key with this unit, right? Is you have that back seat, you have it there, it's legal. A lot of people illegally ride two-up on ATVs. You should not do that. You should get one of these which has a proper seat, because then you get proper handholds and it's actually safe. So guys, I can't wait to load this thing up with two people, really go for a long trail ride and see how it does. I gave you all my initial impressions, and that's it for this video. So make sure you go below into the comments, let me know what you think of the Outlander, let me know what you think of my house way down there. I'm not giving you a tour, that's as close as you're gonna get for now anyways. And then as always, hit like, hit subscribe, and come right back here to the channel for the latest news, views, and real world reviews. See ya.